Well, hello everyone. Here to show you the Big Bird and Big Bird drawing and coloring is talking about is a book fair, and of course got right here is basically talking about book fair, and which most of us whenever we were in school, I would say if it was grade school or whatever schools, if you were in a public school or Catholic school, or you see that you would be familiar with the name that name for so far as known as for book fair. It's like a bookstore that usually comes, and a lot of times it's the books are sent by truck. It's like it's something that only comes to school like once a year, but of course is that they're talking about is for with book fair is you have it to where it's like I say a picture diagram, kind of like this. You explain like on this, picture right here, is you got the shelf units right here. You got the details I would hit and draw and colored of it. The shelves that would fold up like kind of like a book. They would set them out, to in the library. The library would be right here. You got these colors right here that would represent it's like the books, and then of course it could be the non-fiction or fiction type books, or it could be the story riddles, or you say that whatever books that they are, and a lot of times is that with the book fairs that I remember that they would come, and you would be able to walk in. That they had they would set up like a little a bookstore in the library over there. A lot of times in the in the elementary schools, the grade schools, you say that they would set them up, and I would walk in there and I would find a few books that I like to have, and I ask my mom if she would my parents if they would help me out with whatever cost. And a lot of times is that if I can remember whatever books, I can maybe go on for 3 hours about the types of books that I bought at the store, such as story books, or you say children's books. It could be children's books, or it could be, would you say, it could be children. Most of them were children's books, but it could be books that were really related to, like, would you say, characteristic type stories, such as the Three Little Pigs or Boy Who Cried Wolf, or what you say. But what I have, what I had made right here is like a little sheet right here. Is like a piece of paper right here that they're talking about is that you got these lines right here. And whenever I was in school, of course, whenever I went to it's like that grade school of mine, I guess I could look at it is that maybe the old school, or maybe that the school from those couple of years ago. But these lines right here is that they want you to write a capital T right here. If they want you to write capital T or a lowercase t, a lot of times the lines like this would represent is that they is like if you write my name, which if I remember right, back in 1994, 95 it was that. See here, go ahead and spell. It's like my handwriting will be much neater now, but this would this right here would be about it's like how my name was spelt. And of course it's like of course my name is pretty much spelt like this now. It's like how you work on a speed. Well, I guess it's like just like typing. If if you were to get on a computer and then practice some typing, or if it's so far as working with stencil art, you say. But so far as talking about book fair, and a lot of times is that I would go to the book fair, and the books that they had in there in that store, that you can buy them, and I would probably say I was thinking about that earlier, that it's like just like with if most of us were to ever go to the college, or to say that the books that you would need to be able to get prepared for a test, for studies or whatever you call it, that a lot of times that those books would cost money. And the way I think about it is just kind of like the book fair, that according to what their rule is that you can buy, sell, and trade books. You say buy and sell and trade, or it could be is that you can only sell them back, or you would keep them, but you would have to buy the books if you had to take a test on something like that. If you were to be tested on some type of report. It could be science or language arts or whatever. But I would probably think that now that with book fairs is that you'd be like a book fair. You go in there and you buy whatever books that you want. A lot of times, as they say, that other than going into like the store, having your parents take you to a bookstore just to do shopping or whatever, that they would have it to where like a book fair company would come to the school, and then of course would be shipped in these boxes, and then with the tags, it's like a lot of times that whenever they're delivered in the boxes, that they have like this, kind of like this logo, you say Lego, and this deco, as you say, that logo that they would have on the box that would represent, it's like whatever company that ships them to the school, and a lot of times the logos would have like different designs on it, but I remember whenever I was younger that there would be a couple of books that you buy, and if I remember right, I think that was the very first time that I think that whenever I was younger whenever you can actually buy something, that I actually bought something, because that I don't even remember, if it was a pack of gum or a comic book, I don't even remember, the first time I ever really bought anything, in the United States of America or, wherever. But of course, I really only bought anything here in the United States. But let's just say if I were to go to another country, such as, Brazil or Argentina or Spain or whatever, that a lot of times is that I guess that they would count money in, it's like you see kind of a similar way, but in a little bit different too. It's like quite different. You see a lot of people probably see quite different. But then on the other hand, that of course with the bookstore, a lot of times they say that they don't have to check your ID or whatever you call it. You don't, and of course you really need a library card in order to be able to do a lot of that stuff. But hey, I can maybe go on for 3 hours, about the subject, so far as Big Bird, book fair, about my experience, even though if it was 13 years ago, that, nearly 13 years ago, that I remember that, walking into one or two of the book fair stores and then picking out whatever books that I wanted, and of course, that, I don't have those books anymore. I don't know what happened to them, but all I know is that I don't even know the author of those books. I think one or two of them were like the Dr. Seuss's type books. But basically, the fact is that that about books, that whenever you buy them, you just make sure that it's like you work it out. It's like whatever the cost is. To know is that if you're going to read them, or if you're just going to set them aside, or whatever you call it. But whenever I was a kid, that if I remember right, that reading wasn't really my type, and I would probably say, this course was they kind of like pronouncing my name, as in and along with the date, from what I can remember, it's like that it's like May 13th, 1994 it was, and then that, if I remember right, that was the best way I can remember of what year it was. Is like with my reading glasses. But you got right here, you got how the books are organized. But so far with Big Bird right here, Big Bird at Book Fair, and then got the details right here of the truck, but got the truck is like for the delivery of the books, but basically is that with Big Bird and Book Fair, as I know about that, is that whatever storybooks that you want, I guess that they have it to where that you pick out a book that you like and you want to read about it, and then read about it, like write a little poem, you say about it, do it, but more likely say that it's yours, and if you want to trade it in for another one, you can trade it, or work it out with the classmate to trade it, or sell it, whatever you want to do with it. But the books don't need to be returned, unless if maybe if you got a warranty or whatever. But anyway, but so far with Big Bird and Book Fair, and coloring along with Big Bird.